So Media Fest is probably the first time that a media festival is being held of this nature. Media Fest is happening on April 25th, 26th. This is happening in the Upper Crystal Ballroom in Taj Samudra. We have Palki Sharma, I think, who's a well-known media person. I think even in Sri Lanka, she has a significant following. We have a gentleman named Siddhant Sibal, who's very active on social media and really knows how to manage his social media content as a media person extremely well. We have Shailesh Shekhar, who's actually going to come here and talk about AI in journalism, and LV Krishnan, who's actually an expert on media research. I don't think we'll take more than 160 people. We are already around 110, so probably the last 50 registration and tickets remaining, so people should rush and get on to www.mediafest.lk. We want to deepen the engagement between media people in India and media people in Sri Lanka.
Welcome back to another special interview, and today we're going to dive into the Media Fest. And for that, we have the pleasure of having Santosh Menon, the Executive Board Member of Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association, the Festival Director of Media Fest. Hi.
Hi, and thank you for having me.
Great. So we'd like to know as to what is this Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association. We all do know that India do have a very great relationship with Sri Lanka. So what's all about this?
So we actually started Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association in May 2024, end of May 2024. We want to deepen the engagement between media people in India and media people in Sri Lanka. There are several objectives to this, but overall the intent is to get the Sri Lankan media fraternity and the Indian media fraternity engaging more closely on matters that are significant for both countries.
Great. So if I talk about the scope of the event collaboration, what would it be?
So basically the scope would include, engagements like we're just going to do right now with Media Fest. That's one kind of engagement. We intend to have actually a narrative around contemporary India being propagated through the Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association and research papers on India-Sri Lanka relationship.
On writing all this.
Exactly.
Great. So moving on, you talked about this Media Fest. What's all about this Media Fest?
So Media Fest is probably the first time that a media festival is being held of this nature. We are going to have 4 very prominent names from India who are journalists come down and have detailed conversations on variety of topics. We have Palki Sharma, I think, who's a well-known media person. I think even in Sri Lanka, she has a significant following. We have a gentleman named Siddhant Sibal, who's very active on social media and really knows how to manage his social media content as a media person extremely well. We have Shailesh Shekhar, who's actually going to come here and talk about AI in journalism, and LV Krishnan, who's actually an expert on media research. He understands how consumers view media. He's got decades of experience on monetizing media. So 4 very powerful, very, very prominent names from India coming down to Sri Lanka for this event.
Great. And could we know the dates which are happening?
So Media Fest is happening on April 25th, 26th. We start off in the evening on 25th with a session, and after which with an inauguration session actually. This is happening in the Upper Crystal Ballroom in Taj Samudra.
Taj Samudra.
So I would suggest people should do their registrations fairly quickly because we are almost full up.
Okay, so what is the registration limit?
So I don't think we'll take more than 160 people. We are already around 110, so probably the last 50, registration and tickets remaining. So people should rush and get on to www.mediafest.lk and register right away.
Register. Okay, so I guess that this would be very important for the media personalities. And when talking about the awareness side, what topics would this fest address for?
So this whole theme of this media festival is navigating the media landscape. Just as much as there is changes around the world, everyone's getting impacted by all of the changes related to tech and AI and all of that. There are significant changes happening in media also. So the intent is to explore these changes, and see how it's evolving both in India and Sri Lanka, and exchange notes. We have panels on AI in journalism. We have panels on data journalism. We have panels on mobile journalism. So significant amount of content and an exchange of ideas. Very, very useful for current media people who actually look at this whole landscape and understand where things are moving and moving forward to. And also extremely important for media students, potential journalists of the future who can actually come here and get a, 1 day intense course on how media is moving forward and what's happening in this region.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, you
this
need
is
to
for 2 days, right?
actually so all of the panel and keynote speakers etc are on one full day, which is 26th. But 25th evening we have the inauguration.
Oh.
And we have a networking session. So I don't think people should miss that either, because that's the time to interact with many of the journalists and many of the people, other members who are, going to be coming in for the next day to understand what's happening. So it's a great opportunity for people to come in and network.
Great. So, when talking about the relationship between the India and Sri Lanka, it's very great, not a doubt. And what are the modes that we can collaborate in order to enhance all these friendships across the borders?
So I will speak in the context of the media relationship, because that's the primary focus behind which we are doing a Media Fest. This is the first time that the Media Fest is being held in Sri Lanka. I'm hoping that, given already the kind of interest there is, that this can be an annual event, and that we can continue to create these kind of meaningful exchanges, exchanges of ideas, exchanges of thoughts, exchanges of content, sharing of knowledge. In as much as there's a lot for Sri Lanka to learn from what's happening in India, equally I think there's a lot for India to learn from what Sri Lanka is doing. So it's a very wonderful collaborative effort that's happening. And I think that's the way, through exchange of ideas, through exchange of delegations, journalists traveling up and down, that's how we can really enhance our friendship. And that's how we can get even closer together as two South Asian neighbors.
Bravo. So, thank you for joining with our TV with this special interview, Ms. Santosh. And back again to recap about the mode of registration. Y'all can join via www.mediafest.lk.